Кто бы ни пытался помешать нам, а тем более создать угрозы для нашей страны, для нашего народа, должны знать, что ответ России будет незамедлительным и приведет вас к таким последствиям, с которыми вы в своей истории еще никогда не сталкивались.
World War III begins and Joe Biden is furious as he is set to announce new sanctions on Russia after President Vladimir Putin launched an overnight invasion of Ukraine. Republicans are also using this as a moment to claim that Biden's weak leadership helped cause this war. Earlier today, Biden and the other leaders of the G7 group of nations spoke on a video call that lasted for more than an hour. The topic of discussion was what the proper punishment should be for Moscow's government and their economy. They had tried to place sanctions on Russia prior to this with the hopes of getting Putin to stand down, but you saw what he said in that speech this morning about there being consequences for people that try to intervene with him invading Ukraine. Putin also notified the world that he had ordered operations to demilitarize Ukraine after he claimed that the areas he was invading were actually just independent pro-Russian separatist republics. Then footage began to appear on social media showing explosions and military aircrafts flying over eastern Ukraine. There have also been videos of destroyed buildings and military vehicles lined up along roadways. The BBC says that troops have been advancing from the north in the direction of Kiev, from the east, and from Crimea in the south. Now, Republicans are slamming Biden for failing to stop Putin with the limited sanctions imposed on Tuesday. Republican Elise Stefanik, who is the third-ranking House Republican, called Biden unfit to lead the free world, adding, "After just 1 year of a weak, feckless, and unfit President of the United States and Commander-in-Chief, the world is less safe. Rather than peace through strength, we are witnessing Joe Biden's foreign policy of war through weakness." With Republican Mike Johnson adding, "From impeding American energy production to greenlighting Russian energy production to dragging their feet on sanctions to lobbying against legislation to hold Russia accountable, it is clear that the Biden administration's appeasement approach towards Russian aggression has failed." And the big problem that a lot of people in the West don't want to see is this Ukraine invasion suddenly emboldening other authoritarian powers to follow the same path, knowing that Joe Biden will at the most just apply some limited sanctions. Senator Bill Hagerty, a former US ambassador to Japan, claimed, "In particular, Chinese President Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party, with their sights set on Taiwan, are closely watching what happens." One of the major mistakes was last year when Biden waived these sanctions against the Baltic Sea project, which would have piped fuel straight into Germany, being able to bypass Ukraine if anything like this were to happen. Although how could Joe Biden see a potential Russian invasion coming? They only invaded Crimea in, 2014, when Joe Biden was the vice president. So now when the full-scale invasion happens, Biden tries to impose sanctions against the company that built the Nord Stream 2 natural gas pipeline. But Germany's government said that they could not move forward with this because of Putin's moves in the Ukraine. Now, if you want to know why your gas prices have suddenly gone sky high, it's due to the fact that Russia's main export is crude petroleum, which is used for transportation fuels, fuel oils for heating and electricity generation, asphalt and road oil, and feedstocks for making the chemicals, plastics and synthetic materials. It's in nearly everything that we use. As for the latest breaking news updates that we have on the invasion itself, ABC News reported, U.S. troops in Poland will be deployed to border checkpoints with Ukraine. At least 40 killed, several dozen injured in Ukraine, officials say. Russia attacking Ukraine from northeast south, Zelensky says. Pro-Russian separatists claim to be taking territories in eastern Ukraine. Russia claims to have neutralized some of Ukraine's military infrastructure. But either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this, though, because that's all the time that we have for today. So stay classy, and I'll see you in the next one.